Yo, was rocking with the garden. It's your bro Will, and we are here at What Do You Have in Your Garden podcast, episode 3. Y'all know the slogan, man. Love is everything. Understanding is a must, and transparency is needed for those that need love. Speaking of the slogan today, we have a wonderful guest, man. I ain't gonna speak too much on the intro about him because he's gonna tell you a lot. He's gonna drop a lot of seasoned knowledge with y'all today. But further notice, man, I'm here with episode 3, the Trinity, with my big bro Ray. How you feeling, dog? What's happening?
It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Yeah?
Thanks for having me. I'm honored.
Yes, sir. Likewise, bro. Likewise, bro, man. Before we start the pod, bro, you already shared some gems with us at open mic and things of that nature. You feel me in that intimate space. But you welcomed yourself to be on a platform to be able to give the people more information about bro Ray.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
absolutely.
saying? And so, bro, before we start on the pod, man, tell us, man, a little about yourself, bro. Where you from? How you came up? Things of that nature, brother.
Yeah. Straight up. So my name is Ray, God-given name Ray, right? And then my stage name is He Hymn Fareal, but the hymn ain't the gender hymn, it's HYMN, right? And that just speaks to the nature of being a vessel, transmitting wisdom, knowledge, and ultimately like spiritual experiences in the human form to mankind. And so that kind of sum up how I like to live my life.
Right.
I'm from Vallejo, California, right around the corner.
Okay.
Yep. Grew up out there, had a mixed kind of life for real. Cause like most people wouldn't know it just by looking at me, but I'm Black and Japanese, right? So I
didn't know that.
I experienced the unique upbringing with like differences in culture and upbringing, right?
Okay.
And so around 9-10 years old, had experienced hardships with the family. My moms and pops fell on some hard times, and then we moved to what I ended up claiming as my neighborhood, College Park in Vallejo.
Okay.
And was, as a youngster, was into hustling and hitting licks and, was in the streets.
Okay.
So that was like my lifestyle, and that's what I embraced as my lifestyle. And I took on an identity connected to that very young, and grew and morphed into what is typical of being in the streets, right? And claiming that and thinking that really held the type of meaning that it did at that time for me. A place of belonging, a place to stand.
Right.
For sure.
Right. That's real powerful. My bad, y'all. I was finna cuss. Hella's not a bad word. That's a very slang. We can say hella, right?
That's bad.
That's bad, right?
For real.
Bro, that description of your life is so powerful. Can we dissect into it just a little bit more?
For sure.
In a sense of you being inherited in that lifestyle. What do you think made you like morph into that in a sense? You feel me? As a biracial Black man, but just as a Black man in general, being in the hood, like what you think that morphs us into that?
For me, what really contributed to the morphing into that was wanting a sense of belonging in the environment, right? Like,
yeah.
I used to go to my granny house and visit and didn't really, and it was just fun. It was almost like a vacation. I didn't really realize the nuances and what was going on with my older cousins and my older cousins' friends and everything that was going on, because I was only there for a microdose of a minute, right? And then I'm gone and I'm back to my reality,
Right.
living at the house and everything. So I went from living at a house of our own with my own bedroom and everything like that to being in and out of motels, living with different family members, and then eventually situating ourselves at my granny house and in the hood, and then just being exposed to the culture. I was new and I didn't feel like initially I was received in that environment. So being a young, being a young boy, wanting that validation from people that I admire and people that I love, I followed suit. And then because I felt like being mixed was a knock against me as a black man, I felt like I had to overcompensate and do more to prove that I'm really cut for this, right? Like, it's textured, it's deep, and the conversation could grow legs that'll walk us into a journey of a lifetime right now, for real, you know?
Yes, sir. Yeah, man. Thank you for that, bro. Because I believe that's what a lot of us, young black men, or even young black women, grow up in a society to where they feel like they're missing something, but it's not. They're not missing something in a more organic way, right?
Yeah.
They're just missing something because of the neighborhood there or the street they're from, right?
Yeah.
And so it's hard when you're young to try to stand out because you're around others that's really fitting in. You know what I'm saying? And so sometimes, even with myself, I could totally agree with that, because when I was doing what I was doing, I consciously knew that, bro, this is not you, right? But this is my surroundings.
Yeah.
So you said a word that really penetrated my spirit, that niggas overcompensated, right? Like, I know I did, bro. Like,
sure.
I'm doing things that I knew I shouldn't be doing it, but I'm doing things to let people know, like, yeah, I'm cut from this too, bro.
For sure.
It may not look like it, right? But no, I'm cut for this too. So yeah, I overcome. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I appreciate that, and I value that testimony, because it's a lot of people in general, bro.
Yes,
but speaking on us, bro, that's going through that situation, rather if they're in gangs or just in life in general.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Want to be camouflaging when really they should be the black dot on a white wall. You know? So I thank you for that, bro. The intro. You feel me? This is what the intro's all about, man. We diving deep today, yo. As you guys know, at What Do You Have in Your Garden podcast, man, we always use metaphors. One of the greatest metaphors that we use is seeds. Seeds represents life experiences, encounters, trials and tribulations. What enhanced you to overcome what you planted in your own life? And how did you overcome that? Bro.
What's good?
Your garden is beautiful, dog.
I do agree.
You have a mighty testimony. You have your AA in social science and social work.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I want to, piggy bank on that later on through the pod, just to figure out what made you go that route. You know what I'm saying, in your life. But for now, bro, I want to ask you this. What weeds in your life that you have to pull from your garden to help you grow?
That's dope. That's powerful. Ego.
Ooh.
Ego is a weed.
It is.
For sure. Ego is a weed, because like for me, I had to pull ego up and deroot that thing, because it led me down so many delusional paths that I justified to be the right way to go.
Wow.
Right? Like, ego-driven decisions have led me into almost all of my catastrophes that I had to then navigate through and unpack to get back to square one. And so for me, the biggest weed really start with that.
Ego.
The ego.
So how did you conquer that? How did you overcome that?
I wouldn't even say I've overcome it, right? Or
Okay.
conquered it yet, because
Okay.
for me, it's a process and it's a conscious working,
Okay.
right? Like,
I feel that. That's real, y'all. That's
I,
real.
I'm much better at keeping myself from being egotistical than I was,
Mm-hmm.
but I still got work to do. And even if I am almost kind of cured with it,
Yeah.
I still need to do maintenance, because at any given time I could be triggered to tap in and get to being on some me, I.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And so that don't really answer the question directly, but like,
It does. It does, brother.
yeah, it's a
Yeah.
maintenance thing for me, right? It's the
Yeah.
process. It's staying engaged in the process and being mindful that humility snuffs out ego.
Right.
Yeah.
And that reminds me, right? You said ego, and a synonym for ego for me is pride. You know what I'm
Facts.
saying? And so I'm this type of young fella. I deal with pride a lot. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And which means I could be egotistical a lot. You know what I'm saying? And so I respect that, because a lot of times, man, a lot of people know they're egotistical, or they may know they're prideful, but they want to address it within. One of the biggest things that I really stand on, bro, is like reflection, like self-reflection. I truly believe self-reflection matters, because I can put up a front in front of everybody. We can put up a front for everybody.
For sure.
But don't nobody know we putting up a front but us.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And God had to put me in my place, bro, to where like, yeah, you could be egotistical. Yes, you could be pride. You know what I'm saying? But what happens when all that leaves and you have nobody to deal with but yourself?
Mm.
You know, are you willing to deal with that?
Mm.
And to be honest, bro, I'm not, and I wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
And so I loved, because, you know, again, this is a transparency podcast. You hear me?
Facts.
So yeah, I may throw questions out there just to see, you know what I'm saying, how you really stand on it and how you really feel about it. You know, because at the end of the day, it is always a maintenance work. And like, we can never just overcome something fully. Right. There's always going to be maintenance there. Like when we driving my car, I need an oil change, I need some gas. You feel me? Brakes change, and so I respect that.
Because look, the thought for me to even think that I got it down packed is my ego slipping in off top, right? Like to even say, I got this, bro. Like I ain't even on that no more.
Yeah.
Is the ego speaking in that moment.
Yeah. I love that, bro. So we speaking on, that was a great question about, I asked you about a seed, and a seed that you told me that was in your life was your ego, right? So that seed was planted, which was a weed. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
And you slowly chopping that thing down.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me? Me, I believe it's chopped, because your aura, like, you don't have a fake aura, dog. But I respect your transparency, because we got to deal with us. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But your aura, your energy, your vibe, your spirit, bro, is pure. And so with that, bro, I want you to tell us a moment, bro, about a time when you really bloomed, when you really felt like you grasped your identity and you overcame it in a condition that wasn't meant for you to overcome it.
Mm. Straight up. And then that takes me right to a part of my life where I was doing a life sentence.
Wait. What do you have in your garden? Listen, bro. Yeah. I don't know if y'all just heard what bro just said. Yeah. My bad, bro. That just made me excited.
Nah, it's good.
Because he's here in the flesh.
For sure.
All right, my bad, go. Can you repeat that, dog? Can you repeat that, Brody?
Reality based. At 20 years old, I got sentenced to 15 to life. 15 to life. Yeah. And at the time that I got sentenced, life meant life. Like people wasn't hearing where we come from, where I come from. You wasn't hearing about people getting found suitable and coming home after X amount of years. Everybody that had life that was getting shipped away was gone.
Yeah. It wasn't right? A chance of them came back.
Yeah. So like, there was no blueprint for that. There was no manuscript. We wasn't getting letters from inside on how when we end up going, we'll find our way back out, right? And so for me, the transformation process happened all there. I was 20 when I fell, and I had to grow up in prison, really. And for the longest time, I chose not to. I was on autopilot for a cool 15 plus years, still maintaining the lifestyle that I was living on the streets, just in there and not even really tripping, right? And then things started to change. Some started to shift internally. Had some things going on with my family that was supporting me and helping me kind of remind me, like how you just mentioned earlier, like reflecting. Family providing me with questions that helped me reflect on a me that wasn't, this murderer, criminal, all of these boxes that I started to kind of put myself into, all of these internal cages that I started to put myself into. And so it all happened in there. It all happened right in there.
Okay. So with that, man, that's so powerful, bro. So with that,
And then there was a second part to that question that I don't think I really touched on.
Yeah, so how did you bloom from that?
How did I bloom?
Because I don't know if y'all heard, 15 alive at 20 years old.
For sure.
Back when, if you got sentenced to that, you wasn't getting out.
Yeah.
You wasn't getting out. This man is a testimony in front of us right now, man. You feel me? So like, bro, dealing with all that, how are you able to bloom?
How was I able to bloom? I was,
And that's kind of a nonchalant question in a sense, but I mean, it's straight. It's how are you able to bloom, right, in that situation? That's so like.
But nah, that's it though, too.
Break it down, like, what I'm saying? Like, how was that process of life to really get yourself out of the boxes that you put yourself in?
It was a wild process, bro. It was grueling. Emotional intelligence. But it wasn't all me, right? And so I'm a go down a quick little list, right?
Do your thing.
Starting with the reality that it's a higher power. Whatever any individual particularly call that energy, that power, I'm gonna just call it the creator, right? And it starts there for me, and it starts there, but it's directly connected to the internal creator in me. But then like the outside stuff that was happening, my moms and my aunties and people that was witnessing me make worse of myself than they created me to be, than they cultivated me to be as the oldest of my generation. So I'm getting letters and phone calls, and I'm in and out of the hole at times, and I'm getting hit with questions that really was a punch to the gut. Like, damn, you really want to continue just being in there, right? Like, damn. So these things were like the seeds that planted in me to really start to grow and like question that and challenge that. And then being comfortable enough with myself to really like explore them questions and figure out what it's going to take for me to, at the end of the day, I came to a conclusion that if I do never come home, I want to stand right as a man, though, as an individual, as a human.
Yeah.
If I died in prison, I want to be able to say that the rest of the time that I did was in compliance to this human-based prescription, right? Just like upstanding and striving to be my highest self and giving back to the community, whether that be inside of there and edifying and cultivating space with young men and older men and dudes of all ages, just like pulling from one another on some positivity, whether it was even about ever receiving freedom in the physical, just obtaining a sense of freedom in self, though.
I love that. Self-examination. Self-examination by the flesh and allowing the spirit to usher you to that. is so powerful to me, bro.
For sure.
15 years to life.
Yeah.
What was the time served before you got your release? How was that whole progress? Like, what led up to that?
So I did 20 off of a 15-year to life sentence.
20 years?
Yeah, I did 20. Yeah.
Listen, y'all. I don't know. Y'all can't tell me that God ain't real, bro.
Facts.
You feel me? Like 15-year sentence.
Yeah.
You did 20 before you got to taste.
I did 20.
Taste the fresh sherbet.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't mind, lead us down that road. You don't gotta be alone. You know what I'm saying? You don't gotta say too much, but lead us down that road that made that opportunity happen for you to see outside again.
Yeah. So I used to be on dope and everything, right? I used to get high. I used to snort powder, heroin. I was an addict inside of there, drink alcohol, everything, right? Like my lifestyle didn't change just because my circumstances changed.
I feel you.
And I wasn't afraid of the fact that I had the sentence because the life that I was living was already predetermined that it was either going to be death or prison. So there was no shock value in going to prison with a life sentence.
So you were just accountable for that lifestyle then?
I was accountable for that lifestyle. And then I hit
here.
And then I hit the pen. I hit the pen and was with the politics and with everything that I believed myself to be as who I was at that time.
Yeah.
So the process came in doses, right? Like it was a real journey, and it's a long journey. But in a nutshell, around 2008, I told myself like I need to start making some shifts, but wasn't all the way ready. 2010, my father passed away, and I didn't have the opportunity to really cultivate what I wanted to with him because our relationship wasn't the best. And I'm his junior, I'm his namesake, I'm his seed. And I chose to commit to sobriety from that point on. With alcohol, I stopped drinking when my pops passed as a bond, a vow that I'm gonna do better as his namesake, as his legacy, and as a way to repair whatever energy that was off in our relationship. This is gonna be the restart. And then when I made that conscious decision, it came with challenges along the way, but slowly but surely, I was positioning myself to do better.
Right.
And then I started taking self-help groups and reading different kinds of books that gave me opportunities to remind me that I am somebody with the power and the volition to make a complete change of course. I could be going this way right now and I could literally think and start going that way. And that's what it was. It was a reframe. Get yourself together. Like, you really hella dope. Like, but you're not really standing on that. You see yourself as being dope for the wrong reasons. And so I had to shift gears and really start looking at how it would be to be somebody that don't react in violence, somebody that don't deal with my emotions through substance abuse, somebody that's able to have a communication through an emotionally heavy topic and find my words, right? And all of those seemingly little things became the big things that I built a lifestyle around for myself. And just finding the people, or not even finding the people, gravitationally pulling towards like-minded spirits along the same journey from similar struggles that might be a little ahead of me, that might be a little behind me, but we all in the same trajectory.
Right.
And that created a community of individuals that was just like powerful.
Wow. And that with there that led on to the release.
That directly led to the release.
Because you changed everything. Well, not, I don't want to say everything, but I'm saying like your
things.
mindset.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying?
The way that I react to emotional stimulation, the way that I react to circumstances that's unfavorable. I got found suitable on my third attempt.
Okay.
I went to the board and got denied the first time because the first time was 2016. I had a write-up that was about a year old and they wasn't going to release nobody that's still breaking rules. I went back and then I had to postpone it for 3 years the second time because I got caught up with a cell phone. So I'm still showing patterns that aren't consistent to being able to abide by rules. And the way that they look at it is, if you can't abide by the rules in a controlled environment when your life is on the line, how can we trust that you gonna make the right decisions out here in the world where you got access to any and everything that you want, right? And so in the process from 2018 to 2021 was when the magic really, really happened. A lot of magic happened in that 3-year period of time.
Okay. I love that, bro. And I'm going to, I'm going to go straight to the next question with that, since we're on this topic, and then we're going to switch off. But who or what has helped you water your garden? Who has helped you continue to be grounded and inspired?
Past, present, totality?
Totality, yeah.
Man, that's a long list. That's a long list, bro, because I take the bitter with the sweet. Like, my best mentor, some of my favorite mentors is the people that was indirectly teaching me by showing me what not to do.
That's deep.
I love those mentors.
That's deep, bro.
I love them.
That's deep, dog. Come on, man. Okay.
Those is my favorite mentors, right? Okay. And I'm going to give credit to them in this moment, because I could go with the typical stuff and say my mom's, which is big facts. She been like, I can't give her enough flowers, for real. She been with me through the journey.
Yeah.
But right now I want to just talk about that, right? Like the mentors that might go nameless and faceless right now, but they've showed me along the way what not to do.
Yeah.
Without them people that I could witness and observe and be like, oh, bro wasn't on his game right there.
Yeah.
Like, oh boy tried to tell him, but he didn't. And then he went about that way.
Yeah.
And then even the me that was making false decisions or decisions based on stuff that I had to recalculate and say, ooh, I was catting right there. I was tripping. I was tripping, right? I love being mentored by the what not to do's.
That is
what not to do.
Powerful, bro. Okay. So that watered you to be more precise.
Absolutely.
I love that.
Absolutely.
Bro. And the reason why I love that so much is because I feel like in order to get to that place, you not only have to be open, bro, to see it, but you really have to constantly self-reflect on you. Like, you have to know yourself. Like, I want this for my life. I don't want this for my life.
For real.
And so you just gain for everything. You feel
everything.
Me? I love that, bro, because a lot of people don't. I don't know if a lot of people don't get it or may not express that. But to me, I feel like that could be I don't want to say necessarily a cheat code to life, but it can be.
It can be.
You know what I'm saying?
It's definitely a ace in the back pocket.
Yeah, dead ass. You know what I'm saying?
For real.
Yeah, bro. Because like, I look at all of us, you know, as human beings. Like, we all carry somewhat of the same characteristic or the same trial or tribulation, whatever. Everybody can relate to each other, right?
Yeah, to an extent.
Oh, thank you, fam. Thank you, fam.
Yeah.
See that? Yeah. But it's those that study each other to be better, because I believe that by one action a leader is created. You feel me?
Okay.
Like that's what I truly believe, and I feel like a leader is created by experiences in their own life and learning and watching the lives of other people, the do's and the don'ts.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he did it that way. I can't do it that way.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he did it that way, and he was successful. Let me try to, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But it all relates to who we are as individuals. And so, thank you for telling that to us
Mm-hmm.
and to the audience, because a lot of people don't get that notion.
I think a lot of people want to follow what's already tried and true, and they kind of gloss over the fact that there's such a big nugget in somebody doing something that's observable, that you can internalize and say, nah, that ain't my way. Yeah. Even if it is a model of proven success, right. Is that really my way? Do I really want to talk to people as a boss or a CEO? Do I really want to talk to people this way? Yeah. Does that represent success? Yeah. Is that my model of success? Do I want to treat my employees like that? Right. Like, I want to be a boss. I want to be a CEO. I want to be a whatever, but I don't want to do that like that. Like, I don't want to have these people looking and feeling like they lesser than, right? Like, do I want to be the type of person who is I? Right? Nah, do I like that? Right. How that resonate with me? Right. Like, do I want to give my flowers to the people as the collective? Because it's usually a collective effort. It's 9 times out of 10, more times than not so I related, right? A lot of the times it's we. It's we. Yeah. More than anything, right? Yeah. For real. Yeah, I totally agree with that. And so just looking at it and stepping outside of it and looking at it. Right. Even if I'm in it, I want to step outside and look at it. Right. Too. Right. And so having that discernment, having that discernment, correct me if I'm wrong, is that what led you on the road to achieving your AA in social services and being a social worker? Like, what led you down that path, you know? Having that discernment and understanding, like, well, you know? It do. And really, you hit it on the head, bro. Mm-hmm. Because it's community, it's society, it's social. I can accomplish a lot alone. Mm-hmm. I could do so much more with others. And that's a seed. And not just that, acknowledging the others in the process will give me longevity along the way. I love that. Because I'm championing everybody along the way, right? And we're building a whole different culture now, where we're living in a society where everybody want to be the glorified individual. Mm-hmm. As we build a culture of communal acknowledgement, we empower one another. We lift up. Yeah. Instead of press down, right? Yeah. Like that's a switch in mentality. That's a switch in approach. Yeah. I'd rather be amongst a group of individuals all smiling than being in a picture with a group of individuals and somebody way on this far side looking at me and I didn't even catch it because I'm so in my ego, I'm so in my imagination. I don't even see the person on the end who I've been crapping on throughout the process of building whatever, looking like they ain't even satisfied. Like, I believe a leader organically builds leaders. Yeah. I believe bosses dictate. All right. That's good. I believe bosses dictate. I believe leaders build leaders. Leaders are comfortable among other leaders. Yeah. Bosses might feel a little insecure around somebody because they gauging they alphaism, right? I can't be around dude like that because he competition. He a threat to what I got going on. Nah. Yeah. If it's harmonious and I'm comfortable within, we could lead amongst leaders. I love to lead amongst leaders. I love to cultivate the leader within. Bro, that's a bar. Because that's true. And I feel like in the world today,
I don't want to say that. I'm speaking too wildly, but just in the society today, bro, it's a lot of that, right? And for me personally, I'm really big on the same thing, bro. Like I love to see prosperity wherever I'm at, right?
Mm-hmm.
9 to 5, open mic,
Mm-hmm.
friendships, relationships.
Mm-hmm.
My main thing that I really admire is that seeing a leader in somebody that I can reflect on myself.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Or I
Mm-hmm.
can really connect with,
Mm-hmm.
because I feel like it, like you just said, a leader cultivates another leader. But I also believe that, which correlates with that, is that it takes one to teach one, and it's always vice versa,
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, I honor that and I admire that because that's facts.
Big facts.
And that's just the spirit of unison,
Mm-hmm.
the spirit of authentic love, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Like the spirit of transparency, the spirit of understanding, the spirit of knowledge. Um, that's really what makes a leader. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Absolutely.
And it's amazing to me how in due time, like God reveals all, like within us, not forget what the world's saying,
Mm-hmm.
like within us, like, when we get on our straight and narrow. And so, with that, you got your AA and social work, right?
Yeah.
How did that accomplishment like enhance? Like, what did that do for you, bro? When you got your degree, that's all you've been through, you feel me? Like, what was that like, fam? Like, for real, we want to know, right? We want to know, y'all. What was that like, bro? Like, after all you've been through, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? And you did your thing, bro. And you went in that college, bro, and you mastered it. Like, in that moment,
Mm-hmm.
what was it like for you, man?
In that moment, there was joy, bro. But at the end of the day, it was really humbling. And the more that we talk, you'll see, like, the word that I often use when it comes to achievements and things that I've accumulated in my life is humbling at the end of the day. And everybody that know me would be like, that's him right there.
Yeah.
That's him all day. He leading up to it, nonchalant. People ask me, you excited? No, not really, right? Like, and it's interesting to me when I step outside of myself and think about it, because the reality of it is, though, like, yeah, there's joy in it. And not even like on some, I'm just so committed to the work. You know where my excitement comes? It doesn't come with the paper. It doesn't really come with the paper in particular.
Uh-huh.
It really comes from the little moments, the cherishable moments along the way. The tears that were shed in a moment when we was having like a celebration, or like in the wellness center on the college and just like doing karaoke, or coming up out of my comfort zone, or, being at a conference and hearing somebody come up to me afterwards and say what y'all did was really impactful. To me, that holds more value than the weight of the paper per se.
I feel that. Yes,
Right?
sir. Yes, sir.
And then I'm just humbled by the experience, because what I hope that it does is provide somebody who's watching from a distance that might not have ever been told you can go to college, or might look at themselves and not even identify with a college education being an option for them. I come from an environment where school is distasteful to a lot of people, right? And statistically, choosing to go to college, people opt out and take different routes to achieve a form of success, right? And so my hopes with all of this that I'm doing is that it just blazes a trail for individuals who otherwise are told that it's not for them. This platform don't accommodate to your kind. and things like that, or the internal voices that are telling them people like, you shouldn't, you can't, why should you? It's too late. I'm 43. I came home at 40 years old, got my AA, about to graduate with my bachelor's in sociology next spring.
Let's go.
You know, so like, that's really what it's about. It's really about the impact that it may impress on somebody else.
And I love that. You know, I'm a thinker, bro. I'm really a spiritual thinker. I'm one of them type of people, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I look at how your life was a sacrifice for so many that's to come. And now, but to come, like your life, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you've been through a lot, you overcame it, and now God is literally leading you. You know, it's leading, however, like you said, whatever power people lead, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's leading you, bro, to literally be a light for many others that may is compatible with the situation that you went through, but can't see because they're in the dark.
Mm-hmm.
Like God is like, all right, I'm gonna use Ray. You feel me? I'm gonna use Ray to be that light for him. Like, you know, but it's a lot of people like that in the world. But like, it's dope to me, y'all. Roses, it's dope to know a person that carries a pillar like this. Because literally, what I'm getting is that you know that you just don't live your life for you. You feel me?
Absolutely.
Which is amazing, bro. Because for me, I feel like that's what it's about, dog. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Like, once we get that notion, bro, we can get the wheels running because we realize, like, yes, it's my life, but I'm not just doing this for me. You feel me? And it's beautiful, dog.
That's the beautiful.
I feel like that's what a garden. That's what when I was talking about the garden, it's our life. Yeah. We look at a garden. There's different things in a garden that's growing.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And I admire that, bro. Yeah, what you about to say? You had a nugget on your head.
Bro. Like that's facts. That's me. That's me in a nutshell, right there. What you said. I don't live for myself. I am mindful. I came across empathy. I came across the treasure of empathy as it related to my mama and my family being affected the way that they were by my decisions while I was locked up. Prior to that, I didn't even know I didn't know enough to care.
Yeah.
I didn't know enough to care, right? It wasn't that I didn't care. I didn't know enough to care that the decisions that I was making that affected me adversely, affected my mom adversely, affected my baby sisters, my little brother, my cousins, my aunties. It had them feeling a type of way. My energy was transmitted to them, right? And like after years of not seeing the way that it was impacting them, finally, when the light bulb went off, I changed my lifestyle. I began to change my lifestyle, as we've talked about already, as a result of the way I wanted to do by other people. Mind you, the vow to my father, deceased, making a decision to not drink. That's directly connected to him.
Yeah.
Making the decision to change my ways. When I was in the hole and I read that letter from my mama, is this what you plan on doing? Are you cool with being in prison for the rest of your life? I need to make some changes for her. Yeah. Seeing my baby sisters and my siblings crying in visits, like with me having nothing that I could do in my power about the things that's going on in life. They affected by me. I got to go back out this gate. They go out that gate, right? Like, so these realities is what really started to shift the pendulum for me, right?
Yeah.
And so it speaks to the nature of what we're talking about. Yes, my life is not for me. Every decision that I make is a sacrifice for the greater good of the community, of my people. And not just my people, meaning those who are related to me by blood and flesh, but like those who I come across paths with and who we exchange energies with.
Yeah.
I want that to be on a positive vibration. I want that to be of higher self.
Yeah. Yes, sir. That's so powerful, man. As you know, your life prolongs and it continues to grow. One question that I have to ask before we get to our last question is that.
Let me sit back for this one.
No. It's not many. It's not many.
It's good. Whatever.
I want to dip into
It's
the artist
whatever.
side. I want to dip into the artist side right quick before we get to the last question.
Mm-hmm.
So, Dope Poet. If you guys never heard of him, you know I call him Ray Hymn. You know what I'm saying? But if you guys never heard him at an open mic or at a poetry event, whatever, you guys really need to tap in. Really powerful man. But what made you get into poetry though? You know what I'm saying? Like what light switch? Like, hey, you know, let me express myself through these words right quick. Where did that come from?
I've been a writer of words for a long time. I think I remember writing a rap at like literally 9 years oldish.
Okay.
So I used to rap. Okay. But I used to rap in a way where I was under this whole, I ain't no rapper. I was, like, I ain't no rapper because I'm doing this. I'm out here. Like, I ain't no rapper though, but I rap. But that whole paradox, right?
Right.
And so I used to write raps in prison. But guess what? I come to a realization while I was writing raps in prison that was contributing to me continuing to cat out in prison because I'm recycling and regurgitating the lifestyle. So it's as real as it was out there.
Yeah.
In my current life.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to a maturity level for my own journey that I'm going to just fall back from writing raps. I always wrote, as long as I've been writing raps, I wrote poetry.
Okay.
But my poetry I never shared because it was always intimate to me.
Yeah.
And I could be this egotistical D-boy everything on a rap. But in my poetry, I'm this, I'm this emotionally feeling, thought-provoking, abstract thoughts expressing. Like, I don't nobody want to hear that. Like this for me, so I never shared it, right?
Yeah.
So while I was in prison, I stopped writing raps because I realized what it was doing to me internally, keeping me connected to a me that I was working on trying to disengage from. And I started really, and eventually I started really writing poetry and just like expressing myself in a way that was consistent to what I was just saying, like more intimate, more vulnerable me, more sensitive me, whatever. I could let it out right here on this platform that I never gave myself permission to in rap. And then I took a group called Page to Stage, where it's a group in the prison that I was at, that takes poetry from everybody that's in the group, and we go off topics. And then the facilitator lady, rest in peace, Miss Tabola, powerful mentor of mine, would take our poetry and carve it into a screenplay. And we acted it out. We had to memorize our lines, act it out, and everything. And the journey of that first cycle changed my perspective about poetry. And from that point on, I attached poetry as a thing that I am committed to doing. So essentially, like poetry gave me a platform to just be as the mature individual I perceive myself to be.
That is powerful.
Yeah, it reflects who I want to be. It reflects who I am and who I want to be.
I was just gonna say, like, poetry became a lifestyle.
Poetry became a lifestyle, for sure.
And I love it because that's what poetry is. Like, when a lot of people hear poetry, they think of like, words and things of that nature. But life is poetry in itself,
Life is poetry.
So that's amazing. That's awesome, dog. Yeah, I love that. I love that. Okay, cool. Yeah, man. Wow. Wow.
I love it.
Yeah, and it's therapeutic, right? Like when you get into those spaces of, I mean, it's always therapeutic when you write, but when you share it, it's even more therapeutic. You know what I'm saying?
For me, I agree to that. For sure. The whole process for me is therapeutic.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, bro.
I agree with that 100%.
I love that, man. With the wisdom and the seed that you were giving us today, bro. It's beyond measure. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I knew this episode was going to be fire. You feel me? I knew it was going to be awesome. I knew there was going to be a lot of wisdom, a lot of knowledge, a lot of seeds that's being given to the audience and myself. But I have a question to ask you, brother.
Yeah.
If your life garden can speak, if your garden can speak, what wisdom would it offer to someone who's trying to build their own life?
That's deep. That's dope. If my garden could speak.
What wisdom will it offer to somebody that's trying to build theirs?
You know, my garden would say everything that we just got through talking about, starting with pulling your weeds, identifying where the weeds at. Identify where your weeds are, right? And
that's good, bro.
Eradicate that. Start working on that. Because what you want to have growing will be suffocated by the root system of the weeds.
Sheesh.
If you don't begin pulling them out and tending to them. And maintaining, right? Like I said in the beginning, like it's a maintenance. It isn't a cure.
Yeah, it's
a maintenance. It's a process. And that's the grind right there. Are you willing to, if magically you could have all of your weeds removed right now, would you be willing to do the work to maintain it? Would you be willing to do the work to maintain it? Yeah. Because if magically somebody could just pull them, that doesn't mean that they're going to be gone forever. Because weeds come in from various forms, right? The wind blows weeds, seeds of weed into, that's the way it goes, into plots. Yeah. So you're going to have to come and check up on your stuff, and you're going to have to tap in. You're going to have to evaluate, okay, that's a weed right there. And if you get to it early, it's better than waiting for it to grow and then you got to pull it. So it's the maintenance. It really boils down to the maintenance. It really boils down to the mindfulness. Waking up on 10, waking up ready. Okay, this is what I got to do. Boom, 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 boom. Let me tap in. Yeah. I think that's it, because you prepare yourself, you prepare your garden. And your garden is going to be a reflection of the work that you put in and the preparation that you gave it. If you don't see nothing sprouting up, you can't knock nobody but you. Right? Like,
facts though.
Yeah.
That's real.
You come back to it a month later and you see weeds in it instead of cantaloupes and watermelons, like, that's a reflection of what you didn't do. Woo. And then it's somebody on the sidelines looking and taking lessons like, okay, I'm going to do this. Yeah. Because I see that ain't working for me, for him. Yeah. If that ain't working for him, I'm going to do this.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, just cultivate it. Invest in the cultivation. It's a process.
Yeah. Yeah, one word that I'm going to take from this episode is maintenance. I feel like that's so powerful when the way that you just broke it down. Well, when we asked the first question, the way that you broke it down, to me, really dissecting it in my own life, there's no cure to nothing in life. There's always maintenance. That's so powerful, bro. that is so powerful. I realized in this conversation that we're having, that maintenance is something that we all need in our life. And if I'm being transparent, guys, we on the Garden Podcast, is that I could really ask myself, Will, how much maintenance have you been doing
Hmm.
since 2025?
Hmm.
Now I gotta check myself. Oh, brother. Hey, brother, go back to doing, you know what I'm saying? Like that's real. And thank you for sharing that. For me, I received a lot. I'm full. I want to eat some more, bro. But I thank you for your time, bro. I
Yeah.
thank you for your presence. I thank you for your wisdom. I thank you for your gift, bro. I honestly thank you for not giving up. I thank you for in that moment, bro, when you were facing the balance of changing your life, bro. I'm thankful that you changed your life because your life is going to change other lives. And today has impacted my life. You feel me? And I'm grateful for that, bro. Before we end the pod, bro, what are some things you don't got to drop all what you got going on, but to the audience, man, what are some things that you're releasing? And also, man, can you give us your social media contact information so that people can tap in with you, bro?
Absolutely. Yeah. Tap in with me. He underscore him, HYMN,
Mm-hmm.
Fareal, Fareal. That's my IG handle.
Mm-hmm.
Things that I got going on, things that I'm gonna be dropping. I really want to start stepping into this poetry and promoting that as my art. I haven't been doing that. I've been neglecting that for my own personal reasons. And this is the season where that is getting ready to start being cultivated. So, so yeah, y'all will be seeing more drops on poems and yeah, that type of stuff. And I think I want to just keep it there for now because I got a lot of stuff in my frying pans. But for the most part, just expect more creativity, expect more content as it relates to the social media platform for sure. And yeah, just continuing to cultivate on spaces like this. Thank you, bro. Like, I'm so grateful for this. This is literally my first podcast.
Really? It ain't gonna be your last, I'll tell you that much.
And so, yeah, and you know, these conversations have legs and we just don't have the time to capture it all in one sitting.
Yes, sir.
But I'm open, I'm available, and yeah.
Yeah, bro.
I'm grateful.
Mighty man, bro. Mighty man you are. Full of wisdom, full of understanding, full of strength, and also full of self-discipline. You have fruit in your labor, dog. You feel me? Like, for real, man. Like, you know, I remember the first time I met you, bro, and I heard that poem that you wrote about when you was in, you know what I'm saying, when you was doing your bid, and I'm like, bro, this dude is powerful, bro. Like, who is this dude? You feel me? Real talk, bro. So it's an honor for me to gain a brother in his life, bro, and someone that I could really learn from, bro, and I could be edified by her. So I'm really grateful for that, bro. I'm thankful for you being a teacher, but you also being a student. You being a student, but you also being a teacher. You know, I'm thankful for that. And like you said, humbleness, bro, is the way. And you truly are a humble man. You are. Like, yeah, you are, bro. You know, the platform, bro, is built for this. You know, for just love, understanding, and transparency, bro. And this episode blessed my life, my man, and I can't thank you enough. You guys know what it is, man. Any last words, brother?
Peace and blessings, you know, always.
Yes, sir.
Cultivate.
Okay, cultivate and maintenance. Them the two words I'm getting from episode 3, y'all.
Cultivate and maintenance.
But really maintenance, but cultivate and maintenance, though. Real talk. They go together, you hear me? Listen, guys, episode 3, bro, with my bro, Ray.
Yeah.
What do you have in your garden podcast, man? Where love is everything. Understanding is a must, and transparency is needed for those that need love.
Straight up.
Beautiful roses,